Student, I am Naval. You are watching Code with Naval. Welcome to Java series part 61. In a last video, we saw thread lifecycle. In this video, we are going to discuss how to create a thread and how many ways we can create a thread. We can create a thread two way by extending a thread class and by implementing a runnable interface. Okay, let's discuss one by one. By extending a thread class. Thread class provide a constructor and method to perform operations on a thread. Thread class extend object class and implements a runnable interface. Here we can't extend any other class because we already extended thread class. Java not support a multiple inheritance. That's why if we extend a thread class, then we can't extend any other class. Okay. Then second one is by implementing runnable interface. We create a new class which implement a runnable interface and override a run method. When we implement a runnable interface, then we have to override a run method. Runnable interface have only run method. We have an option here extend any other class because we implemented a runnable interface. Okay, we can implement multiple interfaces, but we can't extend multiple class. Okay, so in this diagram you can see here we have a methods: stop method, start method, yield method, then suspend, sleep, wait, resume, notify. We will discuss all method, and as well as that we have this state, new state, then running and runnable. This called a runnable state. Then we have a non-runnable, or we can say block state. Then we have a terminate, or we can say dead state. Okay, then here we have a few methods inside the thread class. Let's discuss one by one. Class provider run method is used to perform an action for a thread. Whatever, when execute a thread, when I start a thread, that time we have to write some code. That code should be executed when I start thread. That code we can write inside a run method, because when we start thread, that time run method execute. Then we have a start method, the start execution of a thread. JVM call a run method on a thread. We use for starting a thread, we use a start method. Then we have a sleep method. Here we pass a millisecond, and that particular millisecond that thread go in a sleep state. Then we have a join method. In a join, by using a join method, we can join a two thread, and when first thread complete, then only second thread start. Okay, this join method wait for a first thread die. Then second, here we have a join with a millisecond. This will wait, but this will not wait to complete first thread totally. It will wait for some time. If first thread die, then okay, it will not die, then it will continue this second thread execution. Then we have a get priority. This get priority method simply return a priority. We have a here priority 1 to 10, or we can say mean, max, or median. Then we have a set priority. We can set a priority. Here we have an option, we can set priority 1 to 10. Okay, 1 is the mean and 10 is the max. Then we have a get name. Every thread have a name, and we can get that thread name by using a get name method. Then we have a set name. By using this set name method, we can change any thread name. Then we have a current thread. Current thread returning that current executing thread name. Then here we have a get ID. We can get particular thread ID. Then we have a get state. This one simply return a thread in a which state. Then here we have a is alive. Thread is alive or die. Then we have a yield method. This yield method simply causes the currently executing thread object to temporarily pause and allow other thread to execution. Okay, this yield method simply running to runnable, move running to runnable thread. Then here we have a suspend, resume, and stop. These three methods are a deprecated method, or we can say legacy method. Okay, suspend used for a suspend thread, resume for a suspend to resume, then stop directly die. We can die any, we can call a stop method and that thread go in a die state. Okay, so let's open Eclipse and see practically. I'll simply create here one class. Okay, let's create here class. Okay, let's expand this and create here class. I'll simply give class name part 61, and inside here we will simply create a two classes. Here we will simply create a two thread. One thread is by extending a thread class, and one is by implementing runnable interface. Okay, let's create quickly class, and here we give part 𝗧𝗢𝗏 underscore t1 equal t1 extend this class, simply extend a thread class. Okay, and here we will simply override a run method. So let's override here run method, and inside the run method let's write one message. Then here we understand. Okay, let's write here message, and inside the message we will simply add here by thread class. Okay, then let's create a one more class part 𝗧𝗢𝗏 underscore t2. Okay, and this one simply implements runnable interface. Okay, runnable interface, we have a two way to create a thread. First one is by extending thread class, and second one is by implementing runnable interface. Here we have to override a run method. Here you can see add unimplemented method. If I click here, then here automatically override this run method. Okay, let's add here statement and write here by using runnable. Okay, by using runnable. Let's save this, and let's create two objects for these two classes. I'll simply write a main method inside a main class, and here simply create a first part t1. Let's create this t1 object equal to new. Okay, let's add here part. Can see here we simply create a object, and we can directly start this thread t1 dot start. Here you can see we can directly start this thread. But when we create an object, this implemented thread class, okay, implemented runnable interface class. Okay, let's see, I'll show you here. Let's create a quickly object t2 equal to new part. Here new part 61 t2. Okay, and here we simply directly try to start method. Here you can see here we don't get any start method. So how can we start this thread? So how can we call this run method? Okay, so for that we have to create a thread class object thread tt2 equal to new thread, and here you can see pass directly here runnable target, and then we can start this thread. Okay, let's start this thread tt2 dot start. Okay, let's save this and run this, and here you can see here we get by thread class and by runnable. Okay, by using runnable by thread class. Here we create a two thread in a two different way. First by using a thread class, second by implementing a runnable interface. But I have one parent class here. Let's create a class parent, and here simply one method. Let's add here one method. I'll simply add here m1 method. Okay, and let's change here private to public. Okay, and here let's write some statement. This is m1. Okay, now here I have a requirement. I want to use a thread, as well as I want to extend this class. But here in a first class, here we already extended this thread class, so we can't extend any other class. Let's try to extend this parent class, and you can see here we get an error because this Java don't support a multiple inheritance. Okay, but here we implement this runnable interface, and here we have an option. Here we can extend any other class. So here we can extend simply this parent class. Okay, extend parent. Okay, let's extend this parent class, and we can call this m1 method. We can directly call inside the run m1 method. Okay, let's call this m1. Here you can see there is a requirement. Depend on a requirement, both way we can create a thread. If we have a requirement to extend any other class, then use this implement runnable, then implement this runnable interface. If we don't have any requirement like extend any other class, then we can directly extend a thread class and we can achieve this threading. But if you have a requirement, if here we have a requirement, here I want to extend this parent class, then here I will go with implement runnable. Okay, let's save this, run this, and here you can see here first our by thread class, this one execute, then our this second class execute. Okay, inside the second class, inside the run method, first we call m1 method. That's why first execute this statement, then execute this statement. Okay, so here we have these two approach, this two way we can create a thread by using this two way. Okay, let's see what inside this runnable interface. Okay, open declaration, and here you can see this runnable introduced in a JDK 1 first version, and here we have only one method, this run method. Okay, here don't have any other method, here I have only one method. Then let's check this thread. Okay, let's see what inside this thread. You can see inside this thread we have so many methods. We have a priority method, then we have a name method, then we have a, you can see here we have so many methods. We already discussed here those methods. You can see here we discuss a 17 method. Okay, all these method present inside this thread class. Okay, you can see all this method present inside this thread class. This thread class also implement this runnable interface. Check how many constructor this thread class provide. Here you can see thread class default constructor, then here we can pass any runnable interface, then here we can pass in, here during a thread creation only we can pass thread name, set thread name, then here we have a runnable target and that thread name. Okay, then we have a thread group. You can create a thread group and we can pass that thread group here, and we can pass here runnable target. Okay, here we have so many constructor. You can see we can use this constructor depend on our requirement. Okay, here we simply understand how many way we can create a thread. We can create a two-way thread, and depend on our requirement we can use this thread class and runnable interface. Okay, so in this video that's it. We will see next topic in the next video. Till that, bye bye.